Buffalo girls, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo girls, can't you come out tonight? And dance by the light of the moon. Oh, hot dog, just like an organ.
Beautiful.
I told Harry I thought I'd be bored to death. You should have seen the commotion in that locker room. I had to knock down 3 people to get this stuff we're wearing here. Let me hold that old wet dress of yours.
Do I look as funny as you do?
I guess I'm not quite the football type. You look wonderful. You know, if it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I will say it. How old are you anyway?
18.
18? It was only last year you were 17.
Too young or too old?
Oh, no. Just right. Your age fits you. Yes, sir. You look a little older without your clothes on. I mean, without a dress, you look older. I mean, younger. You just... Uh-oh. Hold on, wait here.
Sir, by train, please.
A pox upon me for a clumsy lout. Your caboose, milady.
You may kiss my hand.
Hey. Hey, Mary.
As I was lumbering down the street.
Okay, then I'll throw a rock at the old Granville house.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
No, you see, you make a wish and then try and break some glass in. You got to be a pretty good shot nowadays, too.
Oh, no, George, don't. It's full of romance, that old place. I'd like to live in it.
In that place?
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't live in as a ghost. Now, watch. There's right in the second floor there, see?
What'd you wish, George?
Well, not just one wish, a whole hatful. Mary, I know what I'm going to do tomorrow and the next day and next year and a year after that. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. Then I'm coming back here and go to college and see what they know. And then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build airfields. I'm going to build skyscrapers 100 stories high. I'm going to build bridges a mile long. Well, you going to throw a rock? Hey, that's pretty good. What'd you wish, Mary?
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
And dance by the light of the moon. What'd you wish when you threw that rock?
Oh, no.
Come on, tell me.
If I told you, it might not come true.
What is it you want, Mary? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Mary.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Podcast listeners, welcome back to Pottersville. What's that you say? What is Pottersville? Well, back in December 2020, two friends of mine wanted to do a podcast about one movie. That movie was It's a Wonderful Life. And that podcast was Pottersville, which you could think of it basically as the Jefferson airplane to Fine Movies, Fine Spirits starship. We put out 5 episodes, but then they caught the bug and they wanted to keep going, keep talking, keep podcasting, and the rest is history. But every year we get back together to discuss the Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, Alfalfa Classic, and this year is no different. Joining me as always is my oldest friend, my dearest friend, and like most people, I also kind of hate him, my good buddy, David Corsetto. What are you digesting or ingesting? And Merry Christmas.
My God, that was the worst intro ever. I fucking hated it, to be honest.
I do the work. Boom.
Wild turkey.
Swear jar.
Wild turkey, and honest, and I I did ingest something, but it's been hours ago.
Sure. Yeah, but you're 5'3", so it takes a while. And joining us also is a man who puts A Wonderful Life in his top 10 of his top 5 Christmas movie list, Mr. Christopher Morris. How are you this evening?
I am doing well, Michael. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
I'll
to
give
you.
you more cheer than your other.
Thank you. He's a
co-host
Grinch.
there.
He's like a Grinch mixed with an elf.
Yes, an angry elf,
Right.
as we mentioned last episode. I'm doing well, and I'm drinking a little bit of homemade Bailey's, which I made the other day in the blender.
Very good.
So,
I'm drinking
in honor of the great George Bailey.
I'm still drinking that peppermint bark out of a Batman cup. But folks, wait, there's more. There are more people joining us this evening. In fact, first up is a man who joined us last in March, a man who I've starred in some movies with myself, but the less said about that, the better. Mr. Greg Morris, how are you this evening?
I am doing wonderful. I am excited for tonight. I can't believe it was March since my last appearance. Evidently, the listeners didn't enjoy it too much. It's taken a while to get the invite to come back, but I appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm glad
It was
you're
feedback.
back. And also joining us is a super fan who won the super fan contest. She was the 9th caller. Joining us for the first time is Christine Kuchar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm the nice one.
Hi, guys. Thank you. I have to say, so Brian has me prepared with my Bailey's on the rocks. In order,
Beautiful.
yeah, in honor of one of my heroes, Mary Bailey. Dare I ask, am I your first female guest?
Yes.
You're our
So
first
Dave-
female. You're our only female listener.
That's
probably.
true also. You are the demographic.
I am
You are,
honored.
Christine.
I am honored.
Very
Well,
excited.
Great to
Yes.
have you here. Just to give you a background of who I am, I grew up in between Morris House and the Corsetto House before they Brady bunched together. So it was my yard that their dad would tiptoe through to go visit his mom. I don't know if he actually
Gotcha.
did that, but
That sounds so shady.
Yeah.
But Christine, just I'm sure you know who Mikey is, but he's the one who swears a lot.
He is.
that's
He's
not
the-
even.
He's the one.
It's-
Yeah,
He's the
you
one.
know, I don't
That's
listen.
true.
I don't listen as often as you put them out, but we're always listening to them when we're traveling. And yes,
Good to hear.
I will just say, I did complain to Brian that whoever is that always dropping F-bombs. It's really not necessary when you're talking about some of these movies.
You should
not.
don't listen to Elf.
It's good feedback. It's good feedback. Christine is she's not old, but one of my
I am as old as you.
and dearest friends, as George said, it's a very dear friend of mine, and very excited. Can't wait to hear what I know what she thinks of the movie, but can't wait to hear her
She hates it,
relationship with the movie. And
You
her
know what?
thoughts on
I'll say this.
the great Mary Bailey.
I'll say this. I'm not even I was never, and I'm really still not a fan of old movies. It's a Wonderful Life was probably the first old movie that I ever watched, and I didn't watch it probably until late 20s or early 30s, and it's probably one of my top 5 of all time.
Of all movies.
Beautiful.
I will say this too. Let me just ask you guys this, because I didn't do any prep work. I didn't do anything, and I'm not
Oh.
even good off the cuff.
We have a
don't
co-host
do
that does the
anything.
same thing. It's no big deal.
But so I got a box set of the movies Brian got me for Christmas one year with a black and white version and a color version. And I don't know why I prefer to watch only the black and white version.
Oh, that's
I-
the real version.
The
I'm
first
disgusted if you watched it.
I don't know
Greg?
why, but I do.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can't not watch it. It's just so comforting. Just even looking at Mikey in part that his screen. It's
I
just
watched
like-
an old
like
episode
a
of
comfort
Bewitched.
food of a version of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you one other thing? And this is the truth before you get started. I took a picture of this before I came down on the computer. Can you see this? I have this hanging in my bedroom. Can you see who that is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's George and
George and
Mary.
Mary. That's beautiful.
It's George and Mary.
Nice.
Mary's really hot. So.
Oh, well, there's your first hot alert.
What-
You'll
What did
you'll
you
hear it
just
in
say?
the
Mary's
episode.
really hot.
Violet all
Yes.
day.
I thought he'd be in his best behavior, but he is on his. He's on who he is.
He's true to his podcasting
His character.
He's a
Greg,
creepy grandfather.
Tell us about your thoughts on It's One of Life. I'm not sure you even enjoy the movie. We haven't had any conversations.
Well, first of all, I'm drinking a.
What are you drinking? Also, you should have got that in. I'm
drinking a hot black coffee, and that is for no other reason than I usually have a hot black coffee about this time of night. So
I thought it was going to be something much dirtier.
No. I concur with the part about the unnecessary language. I heard myself on the last podcast, and I thought, why the heck am I swearing so much? Do I do that in everyday conversation? So it's good to kind of listen back to yourself. As far as my infatuation with the movie, my daughters who are going to bed right now can both attest to the fact that every year that I watch it, doesn't matter. The first time I watch it, I'm a baby. Yeah, who said cry? I'm a baby. The tears are not just welling up in the sides of my eyes; they're streaming down my cheeks. So you can say that I have a passion for this movie. It is top 5 of all movies for me. I made that declaration, I think last year. So
yes,
that's where I'm coming from.
I've seen it twice.
I know you find this hard to believe, but Jess and Grace were just watching it in the other room, and I was watching the end. I was working. Not that I would work during a podcast, but I was working. I heard the end. I stood in front and listened to, watch the last scene, watch Mary, watch George. And it's a present from a very, very dear friend, all that. And then I left the room and came back to work. Of course, I couldn't make eye contact because I had tears welling up in my. Yeah. This was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. And I mean, you're also talking to someone who cried yet again watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles this past Thanksgiving. Wow. So
we're going to bring Christine on for that.
Well, that's just a given. If you don't
Christine
cry over
that,
then your heart is 2 sizes too small.
And, I'm gonna, we don't want to be serious, do we? No. We don't want to be serious on this podcast, do we?
No, please. I don't know.
It's a holiday. We're celebrating it.
Then I'll keep it moving. I'll keep it moving.
Oh, you can be serious if you have a serious anecdote to share.
If you we'll save that for a future episode.
All right.
If I'm invited back.
Boy. We'll see. It's up in the air.
It's called a teaser in the
feedback.
Some like their water shallow. I like mine deep. So very deep.
Absolutely.
Right, Christine?
Yeah.
As far as going through the movie again, obviously we're not going to do that.
No.
But except for most scenes.
Are we just giving observations?
Are we giving observations? Whatever you have. I have a few things written down that I've observed that are different. I did observe. I had this written down that we talked about in the past. The opening, the Liberty Bells, hearing the bells, and then the small bells. Isn't that like such a comforting sound? It's like Pavlov's dog. If the Russians had Christmas, actually, if there was a Russia anymore, as Michael Scott says,
yes,
and they had Christmas, it would be that sound would be like it just warms the cockles of your heart.
And then that quick transition to Buffalo Girl,
yes.
Right at the end of the bell is, and it's coming when you hear the bells. It's coming.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a really
Christine,
good movie.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say the female perspective on this. Does anyone feel like Mary is just a completely underrated character?
No, because I ranked the characters.
Oh, it's in his top 5 of characters.
She's my number 1 character.
Mary?
I ranked him last year. Yes.
I would say she's right up 1A, 1B with George, 100%.
George is, it's tough to leave George out of the the top.
Where's Alfalfa fit?
Top 2. He is. That is one of my observations. Is how sometimes swearing does fit, but not not in this case. But how the hell
Did he get married?
Alfalfa think he has a chance in hell with Mary.
Mary is just the rock and support of melancholy George throughout.
You know,
Yes. And
What do you
there's
call him,
really, I was
melancholy?
thinking about it.
She is the rock.
She is. There's
Yeah, I
really
agree.
only 2 times in the movie where George just exasperates her with his down on his luck kind of attitude. When he goes to visit her and she smashes the
Mhm.
record.
Yeah.
And then when he comes home and she berates him for tormenting the children.
Yeah. Why must you? And then she's still a saint in that
Where
scene.
she really loses it on him.
She's
Yeah, but-
still a
And
saint.
well deserved too.
Okay.
Absolutely.
On the other side of it, the night that he goes to visit her was the night that the first when she smashes the record, he was supposed to be traveling and going away.
Right.
And
Right.
for the millionth time, he puts everyone in front of himself.
Yep.
So you know what? Here it is again. My chance is gone, and I'm stuck here. That's why I thought it was a great scene because he was so miserable.
Yep.
But in that scene,
It
at the end,
was.
when he finally embraced, like he's like relenting. Like yes, she's the one for him, even though everything around him is crumbling. She will be that rock to him. That's how I looked at that scene.
Yeah.
But it's also 100%. But it's also, you know, like Brian has mentioned before. George is not obviously. George has his faults. You know, Mary's like a saint.
George is just a melancholy dude, and Mary is just the eternal optimist. He is.
She's
He
kind
is,
of,
but George.
like,
I mean,
she does
like
nothing wrong.
And I
he
think
doesn't
that
have the same aspirations as George, right? You know.
But I think George kind of just gets. It's easy to just get mired down, and I'm supposed to be doing this, and this, but if you think about it, isn't that kind of like the point of the
Life.
whole thing?
Movie.
He thought he was going to be doing all these other things,
Mhm.
and he didn't end up doing any of those things, and his life was wonderful.
That's the
This
whole
is-
movie.
Isn't that the whole thing of it?
It is.
That's the,
really
yeah.
is a wonderful life.
But he becomes his father. in
Well
the end.
said, Greg.
Because his father, the very thing
well-
that you want to become was his father, and he became his father at the end, and he appreciated that.
Well, that's funny.
Let's-
It's interesting you bring up his father, though, because you're talking about kind of how they see and how they interact with the world. And Mary, you wouldn't see it coming with the way her mother is. Her mother is, up there and just this. I don't know what she has going on, but she's got a lot going on. So where Mary came from, we never met her father, but I'm assuming he had a big role. George, on the other hand, would you say he had his father's personality?
No, I don't think
He had
so.
his father's
No.
sense of duty and right. Right.
I don't think so.
Duty, yes, but I don't think he realized how important his father's outlook was until the end, really.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, just
I agree with that.
Let's
wanted no
let's
part
do
of
not
it.
think.
When he
Let's
was ready
do
to
not-
head off to college, he wanted no part of it.
Yes, right.
Right.
And he insulted his father, unintentionally.
Yeah.
Measly little office, but George is the best too. Let's not.
I am not trashing George.
I know you're not. I
But
know
the
you're not.
female perspective would
but-
be that George couldn't have a better partner than Mary.
Right.
George
Of
It's
course.
is
exactly
not
what he needed.
right.
The side note, the very end, when I was just talking about, the very last scene, Mary was also looking her best.
That's important.
She's beautiful. No, she was beautiful.
I thought she
Beautiful.
looked the best when she was in her robe.
Oh, how do you think?
That's because you think
David,
of her as 18.
Yeah, David, how would you describe her? Just for the listeners at home.
First of all, I personally believe that she is one of my top 5 female actresses of all time, and I think
Really?
she's
Wow. Actresses?
Like,
Yeah.
besides this,
she's on a different level than
Okay, what else do you like her in?
yeah.
I mean, the Donna Reed show, clearly, right?
I'm just talking about the way she is in this movie.
Just from this movie
Oh,
alone.
this character, yeah.
This character.
Yeah.
She's great.
Um,
Although you do know, I don't know if Dave mentioned it last year. I might have mentioned it. It was in that Life. Actually,
Magazine.
it's right here.
I got that.
Magazine.
There it is.
My father too.
Which said Frank Capra, he loves this movie. It's his favorite movie of his. He said his biggest regret is how he wrote Mary's character in the alternate life. You know what I mean? Like she's she's an old,
what, a 25-year-old spinster or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. 25-year-old gray-haired librarian,
old maid.
And he regretted that because he's like, she's so independent. She wouldn't just, if George wasn't around, she wouldn't just, become that. So he regretted that. He regretted that. So.
I think that also, I don't know, he regretted it, but that also speaks to that they were not themselves without each other, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So maybe she would have ended up as that spinster. By the way, George, we're talking about George. He's obviously clearly one of my favorite characters of all time. He is also a felon in the movie. He had the warrant signed out for his arrest for the missing funds, right? Yeah. So I was trying to think, how did that happen so quickly? And what the only thing I came to is he was dipping into like an escrow fund, right? Because they probably had escrow back in the day. So he had, they had cash flow problems.
So that was operating. That was
yes,
it's basically
they didn't have the operating. They didn't have the you're getting too much into the weeds, but I didn't even think of that. But that's true.
Greg demands to see the books.
Okay, one of the funniest things though I thought was hilarious was in the alternate life with Mary, when George was like, "Where's our kids?" and she was like, "What the fuck?" She started screaming.
Yeah, she fainted a couple times. She fainted very easily. But it's great. It's great how George quickly, he tells Uncle Billy he's going to jail, and then George is very selfless and quick to say he misplaced. How has anyone brought up the fact? I probably have in the past. Uncle Billy, stupid old goat that he is. Does he have wet brain? Like how, if you have $8,000, like if you would have, and you bring it to the bank, don't you have that defense mechanism? Like, you put it down, you put it in a newspaper. Like you wouldn't you
get distracted.
A million alarms wouldn't go off.
Uncle Billy is so annoying to me as a character. He really is.
Doesn't he live with like squirrels and stuff in his house?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah.
He's so annoying. I don't even find him endearing. I just find him annoying.
Did you listen to last year's or was it?
No, I don't know. If I did, I forgot.
I was ripping him a new one. Yeah, no, I was very anti Uncle.
Can I tell you something? Although George is a melancholy soul, can I tell you what my favorite moment of George, where he's actually just jubilant and I just smile big every time I just love this about him when they're at the high school and they fall into the pool and he continues to dance with her in the water.
Yeah. He's laughing.
I love it.
It's great.
What a high school too. Just the basketball court opens up to an Olympic-sized pool.
In 1940. And what year? You may have talked about this. What year did they graduate high school?
I don't remember.
What year was that?
I don't remember anymore.
Do you think?
Got to be
46.
Well, 46. The movie came out and it ended. So how many years before
1919? That? No, it was like 19.
19 was when Harry would have died. The sledding. Okay.
Okay.
It had to be at least 1929.
1923 or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, well, anyway.
I used to know all this, but I'm old. But
that's some high school. Dave and I had a high school next to a prison.
The high school scene is great too with Othello. Whatever. That character is underrated. The one who talks to Alfalfa, who's an idiot. Yeah. And then, so another observation I had randomly. Have we talked about Sam Wainwright's problematic relationships? Like,
you've been texting a lot about this. Ready to hear about it.
Well, just the fact that he's with another chick when he's talking to Mary, you're with my girl, and then there's another one he brings. By the way, Jane Wainwright, is that someone? That's the one.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for
Jane.
Dave.
Yeah.
Jane. That's her actual name. That's the one.
Dave's getting ready for bed. You can see he's already over on his side.
Who comes and meets George and Mary. But I'm waiting for Dave to say something about Jane Wainwright, though. Holy.
David?
She's hot, actually, but
Very good.
It's
Good. Good.
It just seems,
She has a wonderful mind.
A lot of, he throws the dough around. It just doesn't seem like he, probably doesn't treat women that well. Obviously displayed by his phone conversation, right?
Don't we all have a friend like that?
Yeah.
On this Zoom?
We all have friends like that. That But I mean, he was growing up doing hee haw. What was the name of that gang? Did they have one?
You're lucky Pat McCarthy doesn't listen to podcasts.
Well, I was thinking more about Dooley, but because
you might listen. The Dupremas might listen, but
anyway,
yes, actually, Sam Wainwright.
Sam Wainwright. But we all have that friend.
So, anybody's favorite? I always say I asked these two last year or the year before. I always say the favorite non-ending scene, right? Favorite non-last 45 minutes.
I like the scene where the cop just opens fire on George.
Yeah, well, that counts as part of the end. But that there'll be an investigation into Burke's behavior there for sure. But any other, Greg, Christine?
Well,
I have lots. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's obviously it's. I was actually. Yeah, no, it's actually the scene when there's the run on the bank, right? And so I don't know if you break that up into multiple scenes or it's just a one scene, but I guess it starts when they're ready to go on their honeymoon and they have to go by the building and loan. Oh, by the way.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Great share, right?
They should have never went by. They should just left.
I'm jealous.
And they should have kept going. But then, it ends with obviously them celebrating the countdown on the clock. I guess that's my favorite non-ending scene. It's pretty incredible. It speaks to Mary's character too, and even George. Yeah,
he doesn't want him to stop right away, and then
right. Mm-hmm.
Christine.
I love in the beginning when Mary whispers to George, "I love you till the day I die."
Oh yeah.
Yep. And he's even kind of a jerk then. He gives her chocolate ice cream. She doesn't like chocolate. No, she doesn't like coconut.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta have it anyways.
I love when old man Gower whacks him, and then he realizes that George is helping him. Yeah, I love that. He's so sorry.
Awesome.
Excellent. He really whacks him pretty good there too.
The pool, I already said. I love
the pool. Yep.
I
always mention. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I always mention it's the best part of besides the run on the bank. It typifies George, his character. Just the speech he gives when Mr. Potter screws up by bad mouthing Peter.
Yeah.
And George is about to leave.
Yeah.
And just that speech.
Yeah.
Is just compelling every time to me. I love it. Talking about the people that work and live and die, and it's great.
Yeah, we've gone this far and we haven't even mentioned Clarence yet.
Oh,
I love his scene when they're drying off and he's just so matter of fact about that he's an angel.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah,
like that whole thing is my favorite scene. I loved it when I was a kid. With the silly guy falling.
Yep.
Every night I wake up around. I'm not even kidding. I don't know why it's like this either too. I wake up around 4:30 every night. Every night I put the movie on. Every night, and I fast forward to Clarence because I love that ending. It's such a great ending.
There is. What happened to your phone?
Mine?
That's fine. It's on the couch, and so is he.
On my bed.
Oh, he's on
bed. On another note, one of my daughters the other day, I think it was Olivia, she was wearing something, and I said, "Oh, you look gorgeous." She said, "Oh, this old thing." I only wear it when I don't care how I look.
Oh my God.
That's great. Now, here's another unique, weird scene, right? So, like, when he's talking to Violet about, like, going off and taking their shoes off and running to the
Yes.
fields and
Mount
then
Bedford.
everyone starts laughing at him. Like, why would all these people just hanging around listen to their conversation? What was
I
that?
brought that up the other day. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's great,
Why was that
yeah.
such a big deal?
Everybody just stopped in the middle of the street.
I don't understand
Chris,
it.
is Clarence one of your top 5 movie angels?
He is. He, you laugh, but I have a chart. I have a book.
Well, I figure you have Mr. What's his name from Heaven Can Wait.
Oh, he's so good. No, Mr. Jordan, but yeah, no,
Jordan,
nobody
yeah.
touches Clarence. Nobody touches Clarence. Come on, Clarence.
He's top
So
5 movie angels in Christmas movies.
in Christmas movies.
He-
By the
he's
way,
so,
I'm gonna
he's so
I'm
cool.
gonna
He
mention
needs
a
one
couple
name.
other Christmas movies. Exactly, Clarence.
Mention away.
So-
This is free for all.
Well, the other thing I may or may not have been drinking in my cups when I text some of these observations. I've done it for years to my brothers and to Brian, and texting different observations I have when watching it. But speaking of people who, you said George and Mary weren't the same without each other. Nick was not the same. Obviously, it's been mentioned many times without Martini. Nick, with a very different bar, very different. Obviously he's a surly bastard. But I had the observation that obviously Nick is doing a much better business than Martini because he's running prostitutes out of Nick's place.
He knows his
Is it?
customers.
Comments?
Clientele was way different with Nick's place than Martini's.
I mean, did you check the background out? There's some, transactions going on. It's a lot of ladies of the night.
I will check the back. I will check the background when I watch it this year.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you see any money passing, but
It was a much different bar.
Implication.
I think that's another sad scene when he's yelling at poor old Mr. Gower.
oh, of course.
Oh,
that
yes.
makes me sad.
He's in HB. What's his name? I forget his name. Silent film star.
Martini, that kid though.
What's that,
He was
David?
what?
Martini
murdered
was
the kid.
a killer. Me too, but he killed that person because George was there to save him.
Right.
Very sloppy.
That's
The
true.
bottle did have a giant poison label on it too. Not even a label.
Yeah,
It's
but the
like,
skull
this
was
jar-
smiling. So
This jar is poison.
it said jar o poison.
Supposedly he
what-
drank in real life for that scene I mentioned last year.
Oh,
Method-
really?
that's
I don't know if I
method.
heard that. I
Yeah.
tell you though, the acting he does when he breaks down and says, "Oh George, oh George." I mean, that's just top
It gets you.
notch. Like
That's great.
it does.
Love
But
to see him at the end.
when you talk about Nick though, and It's a Wonderful Life and George's impact, obviously he was there. They're individual examples of how he affected people's lives, but obviously the entire change from Bedford Falls to Pottersville. I mean, think about
Right.
how many lives that affected.
Yeah.
Yep.
If there were prostitutes in that
Which is-
bar, it was because they were a product of the environment that was Pottersville. So like,
Yes.
and this is maybe Dave oh wow, look at that.
She's crying.
Sleeping?
Yeah.
But you wonder, can hey.
Say hi.
I can't see it.
Oh, you
Just-
can't.
It's a baby, Chris.
Did she call you El
Just a ba-
Padre?
it's
I know. I
Just
can't.
a baby.
Oh, it's so cute.
She was crying.
Hello, Maeve.
Really?
What
You
do
want to
say?
watch It's a
Look
Wonderful
at
Life?
you.
Yeah.
He's living it.
My damn phone. I can only see one at a time.
You can swipe.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
I guess I was saying you do wonder though, like, can one person's life affect? It can affect so many people individually, but can it affect, that butterfly flapping its wings
Absolutely,
thing, the whole butterfly effect?
Sliding doors.
You do wonder if someone like George was a real character, how much impact he would have, not just on himself, but his whole community and everything, So I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I think things like that happen. I think absolutely.
Definitely. So we never mentioned the great, just hearing their prayers at the beginning, right? Isn't that great?
Because the whole
You know,
town cares for him.
you hear a couple,
Didn't
I
realize it.
forget who, and you hear Mary and you hear the kids. That's awesome.
One of the
So what
things
about Zuzu Pedals?
Susan Pebbles.
One of the things
Very
that I
good.
never noticed before, but the the HD, the 4K stuff now, like even at the beginning of the movie, you see "Welcome to Bedford Falls," and I never noticed before, but behind that,
Harry
see-
Bailey.
yeah, welcome.
I noticed.
Hero.
I noticed
Harry Bailey.
this week. I noticed
First
the other
time
night,
ever.
For the first
Yeah.
time. I know. It's so clear. It's great. It's great.
So clear.
Christine, now I had a question. You know how don't you guys watch it in the movie theater?
So we had
have you
gone
a
for a
couple
few
times?
years. Yeah, they would have it in a movie theater up in Plymouth. So we would go and watch it there, which was great to see it on the big
Awesome.
screen. And then at the end, we didn't know this, but people would bring bells. And at the end of the movie, everyone would bring their bells. Literally started bawling.
Oh my
That's
God!
so
How can you
cool.
not?
But we've missed it the past couple of years because it's like not when we're there. But yeah,
Yeah.
the whole audience was ringing bells. And my
That's
kids
great.
love it. And my kids love it now too.
Do they love it? Love the whole
Yes.
movie? Oh, look at you.
Yes.
Dave, please mute the baby.
I want to play.
Used to baby. So it's funny because my kids don't love it as much, but
They're young.
it's
My
tough to
kids
get
didn't
Aiden
watch
to
it.
watch
Yeah.
things. Yeah, no, but it's funny because Aiden came down and just started watching and I remember really when I was a teenager, I saw when he was on the bridge, from then on, and that's like kids, Aiden, and he was like, this is, he really enjoyed it. He's like, I love this part, I love this part for the rest of it. So, and it's like, was that you, Mikey?
No, I was just going to say I don't
I
have
heard
any
burping.
children to share the movie with, but I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure it's a wonderful experience. You're all very, very lucky. Speaking of kids, what about George's son playing the piano there?
Daughter.
That's a pretty great scene.
Yeah.
When he's getting
It is.
The daughter?
yells at him. Oh, it's his daughter. You're right.
Yeah.
Daughter.
Again,
Have
I
you
haven't
seen the
watched it in
movie?
a while.
I'm
Not in a
kidding,
while.
Mike. You should watch it again.
I'm here to direct the
It's
ship.
great. You remember last year I had Grace had learned it on the piano just
That's right. I remember you sent the video.
just from the movie. So yeah, it's great. The whole scene is great. George is and we always ask the question, the only people that aren't happy at the end, is it the Welches? You know what I mean? Like they're like, everybody loves George. He told my wife, she just verbally assaulted her over the phone, called her stupid, silly. He's like, it's not a very Merry Christmas for us.
They weren't there at the end.
And he can't even
They're
go
not
back
going.
to Martini's bar.
I think knowing George, he smoothed that over. He probably paid off.
Oh,
that guy.
he definitely apologized to
He
Mrs.
paid that.
Welch.
And he paid the Welch's tab at the bar, and
Right.
he made it right. We don't know how, but he made it right somehow. I have faith in that.
Of course.
He would.
Yes, he definitely.
Yeah,
Don't you agree,
Definitely.
Dave?
I do agree.
Cool. Very good.
I'm sorry, baby first.
I think you're kind of secretly lifting weights and just using the baby as an excuse.
Yeah.
Is the gym this way?
Yeah. Hi.
Which way to the pool?
Chris, were you going to mention other Christmas movies you wanted to?
I was, yeah. If we're,
Yeah.
Well, can
I
we
don't
stay
know.
on this for a second, though?
Oh, sure.
Yes. I did. I was waiting to leave.
Christine, in Waterville Valley, don't you have a sign?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Is that what it says? Okay, I wasn't sure if it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not just, you don't just have a picture in your home. You have one in.
It's a
In your
wonderful
second-
life.
It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle.
We are blessed.
great.
We are blessed people,
Mhm.
This is such
all
an
of us.
important movie for all of us, except Mikey.
Seen it.
Well, no, Mikey's seen it, but I think though that's
I
also
know, I'm
though
kidding.
like every
Every
like
time I
your
watch it, I
favorite-
know it's amazing.
your
Yeah.
favorite music of all time is usually when you hear it at a certain age, in
Oh.
between the ages of like late teens to like your mid 20s or something like that. For movies, it's probably what, like I don't know. I guess it could be when you're a little kid
It's all
all the way
different.
up through, but
Yeah.
it's tough to have the same place if you saw it for the first time at 40 or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I saw it for the first time. It was in my 20s, I think.
Well, it used to play on NBC or CBS, one of those two, when I was little, and then they stopped playing it. Right? 'Cause I remember watching that.
Something about they lost at one point. It was in the public domain, I think, and it could be on any time. It could be aired as many times as they want. Any channel had it.
But then TBS Turner bought it, right? And colorized it and kind of ruined it for a couple of years or something. Because I think they only showed the color version.
Like I watched an old episode of Bewitched the other day, and it was in color, but you could tell that it was colorized, and it's just
it's not
it's not the
just
same.
like when you watch Miracle on 34th Street. I think they show that also colorized. So just you don't have the same warm feel.
No, something about black and white that just actually gives more, I don't know, emotion or something. Or
So we're all going to be watching this tonight, right? On Christmas Eve. I almost said New Year's Eve.
That's right. It is Christmas
I'll
Eve.
be watching it in the next couple days. Yep.
Nice.
No, it's Christmas Eve right now.
It's Christmas Eve right
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Oh, we all
As
knew
soon as
that.
I get off, I'm hopping on the couch to watch. Sorry.
This is great.
Just edit that out.
Exactly.
There's no editing. There's very little editing.
Theater of the mind. There is a lot of editing.
Yes. So
just not tonight.
Yeah. So no, we can talk about It's a Wonderful Life. Like we're going to talk about it every year, obviously. So just the best. The best.
I think next year we should try to figure out
meaning.
A wonderful rewatch. Either put it on one of the Zooms or something, some way to rewatch it more.
Yeah, that's for our Patreon members.
Right.
They'll have to pay to watch with us, watch along with us. So this is what I was mentioning. Some other Christmas movies. Sorry.
No, nothing. I was just gonna say no.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what was George's role during the war? What was he? What was his role?
He organized all the drives, didn't he? Scrap metal, tires.
But he was also the air raid warden.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he must have been just dreadful in that role. Can you imagine him in that role? He organized the different drives. He would have been great, but like coming down on people for having their lights on at night and whatnot. Oh, he must have been such a pain in the ass. I can't imagine him. Insufferable.
I'd say, probably. Good. That's a good observation. We never picked up on. He does spits on his sleeve, spits on his shoulder. Good stuff. So we other Christmas movies that we may end up doing in the future, right? Is Christine and I have talked about Christmas Chronicles. Has a couple of flaws, but such a great Santa.
I have not seen the sequel.
Russell. Don't you guys think I think it's really hard for a movie to become like a holiday favorite?
Yes.
Elf did it, and that was the first one in a really long time. I think the Christmas Chronicles could too. I think it's so clever and so well done. There's so much.
It's so emotional. It's so.
I love the fact that it takes place in Lowell. I love that it's.
That's one of my favorite. I tell my kids that, and they're like, "Why? Why do you care about Lowell?"
Right. I think it's so
spent
clever
a lot of time in Lowell.
that they have like the grandkids worked in when they're delivering the presents, and they're watching them on the video things. They got Ryder and Bing and all Kate Hudson's kids in there. I think the end with Goldie is just because who doesn't love Kurt and Goldie together? Mm-hmm. It's just the only part that I don't like is the jailhouse thing.
The elves.
But
that's too much.
Like
the elves. The
rest of it is so clever. I think it could be a holiday classic.
I agree. We may do it. Flaws and all, but Kurt Russell, Brian refuses to.
He's a
like
great
it's outrageous
Santa.
That he's one of the best all-time Santas. Probably top. It might be top 3 of all time, even. Right?
It's just great. I just love it. So I thought it was so well done. The graphics, the sleigh. I just thought it was great.
It was.
Catching Santa when she sets up the video camera.
Yeah, the kids are great too. The kids are great.
Yeah, really clever.
When he's talking about his father, and Pierce always sees it through.
Did you see the second one?
Yeah, I did. We didn't watch it this year. It was like pretty forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
agree.
remember if it had any great
Yeah,
parts.
no.
So how about 8-Bit Christmas? Have you guys watched?
Watched
Talk
that
about
last
Out of
year.
Left Field.
That was
So
a lot
great.
of fun.
Outstanding.
What?
8-Bit
Like
Christmas.
it's called 8-Bit Christmas. It comes out of left field. You think it's one thing. I don't want to spoil it, and you think it's like A Christmas Story, where he's because he's going for his Nintendo the whole time. So you think it's modeled after the Christmas Story, which it kind of is.
It has that. Yeah, it has flavors.
Feel
of that.
to it, and then it takes a turn, and then you get the usual waterworks.
No, I've
It's-
not heard of it. I'm
It's
gonna
on
have to-
HBO. HBO Max.
I'm gonna look
It's
it
the
up.
one.
It's a father
Yeah.
telling a story of his childhood Christmas to his son or daughter, and the Christmas took place in 1988, and it was all
Yeah.
about the goal to get a Nintendo.
Mhm.
So
Neil
that's
Patrick Harris. Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris.
He's great in
He
it.
is.
Actually,
Oh, he's
I don't
so
buy
good.
him.
So good
I
in
don't-
that.
I'm not a fan of his in anything. Not anything, but I don't buy him as that type of character, except in this. Like it's that Barney character, and I don't know. Rarely watch that show, but How I Met Your Mother isn't that what it is?
That is. I
But-
believe that's the show. Yep.
So yes, he's great in it. And have you guys seen the new the Christmas Story? Christmas.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say that. No, I have
We're watching
not.
that this year, so that's our.
So my Aiden and I had a low bar. I don't want to.
It was all right.
Oh, Dave said that. Dave, I had very low expectations.
Did it exceed
Let's
them?
just,
Yeah.
yes, by
Blew
a
him
ton.
away.
Awesome.
I
Blew
blew him away.
Really?
It's very well done. I thought it would just copy everything. I thought it would just borrow everything from the original. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really good writing. It's pretty smart. It's funny. And then again we get the waterworks maybe.
Good. We're gonna watch that. I think.
Oh, I
Is this
love
the
that.
theme?
I'm gonna watch
I
it.
mean, now that we set the expectations a little higher, though, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be a disappointment. But,
No, I'm
Yeah,
still
but no.
expecting to
David
be
said it was
disappointed.
terrible. David said it was terrible.
It was okay. I didn't say it was terrible. It was like,
yeah,
Well,
it was.
Speaking of a Christmas movie that
Okay.
Dave, I don't think appreciated originally, Christmas Vacation. We did that
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, to me, that's a yearly watch too.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
we
Very
watched it
rarely
nonstop.
the third in a series is probably the most, even though the
I
first
agree.
one's great, the third one is the most rewatchable, I think. The Christmas.
I
movie.
agree.
I agree. I mentioned on the pod that I actually mocked my friends. I didn't like it. 1990. When did it come out? 91, 89.
It might have been 88, 89.
Yeah,
89.
I
88,
remember seeing it in the
think,
theater.
maybe 89,
I watched
yeah.
it. I watched it at Paul Barracloff's house, and Steve Jankowski, and I was like, "This isn't funny." Although, to be fair to me, we were watching the scene when he when he was using the varnish on the.
Still kind of
which is
funny,
terrible.
but
Which is a
I
terrible.
don't think it's
scene.
terrible. No, I don't. I think
The
it
only-
is what
the only
it is.
funny-
What it is. It's not. It's
The
not
funny
high
part is
art.
Eddie. The funny
Yeah.
part is Eddie with his his
The plate in his
part.
head, right?
You can see the plate in his head,
Yeah.
and just the look on
Or
Clark's face.
Corning, right? Yeah.
Yes, just the look on his face. You really think it matters, Eddie? So yeah, it's
Yeah,
just,
see.
I've come to love Clark Griswold, and I think the Kuchars call me Clark Griswold. I don't know.
yeah, we do.
They think I get into Christmas a
We
little
do.
too much.
No, no one ever said that.
I know.
Started a whole
Um,
podcast because of Christmas.
Absolutely. Have you guys ever seen Claus?
No.
Not seen Claus.
It's
Not seen
it's fantastic.
Krampus. You ever see that? I know it's. I don't know
No.
if it's. Is it bad?
No, that's
I know it's
Isn't that a
not
horror
really
movie?
Christmas and it's supposed to be like horror comedy, but
no. Greg, have you seen Claus with the girls?
Yeah, but it's. I remember it being pretty good, but isn't that funny? It's not that memorable. That.
Watch it again. It's
Yeah.
Do you remember Noah McDonald's character? He's great.
Mm-mm. No,
Yeah.
it might have been one where I don't know. Maybe I fell asleep or something.
Yeah.
It's queued up.
Good stuff.
Have you guys watched this movie, House Alone, or what's it called? It's a little kid
Home
who
Alone?
gets.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
I'm a little slow.
Yes, we
is
watch it every year.
David and I.
That has to be like an absolute classic. The first
Yeah.
one's incredible.
Yeah.
1990,
Love
David
it.
and I went to see it with my brother in the theater the day after Thanksgiving. Had no idea what to expect. And
It's got a great theme song too, right? Don't you?
Yep.
The score in that is great. It's very violent when you think about it, though. I'm just kidding.
What about the new Violent Night where Santa beats up people like Die Hard? Anyone see that new movie?
I haven't seen it. My kids, Aiden wants to watch it. It looks good.
I don't like. I have a hard time.
Fat Man.
Anything dark invading my
Your
Christmas space.
Yeah.
right. I
Like
agree.
even Bad Santa.
Like
is
Fat
a
Man.
funny movie.
Yeah,
but
I
I don't
love
want
it,
to
but
watch
I
that.
don't use it as a Christmas
Yeah,
movie.
see, I watched a Swedish movie where they caught Santa, but Santa was like an old Swedish demon or something.
Oh,
Good. Rare
Is that on
Exports, I think it's
Netflix?
called. It
Oh,
might
oh.
be. I watched it on Hulu a few years ago.
Well, what about Arthur Christmas? I just remembered, speaking of the
that's
classic, right?
It's tremendous. Yeah.
I love it.
I took
Love it.
David's boy again. I don't have children. I took David's boy to see that movie.
Oh, awesome.
It's Chunky's. It's a great movie.
Good stuff. What I think what I was gonna say. Oh, the kids were making fun of me because they sounded like my two brothers ragging on me because I was making a big production about saying how bad Home Alone 2 was. They're like, oh, we're watching Home Alone 2. I'm like, this movie. They're like, oh, here we go.
You don't understand.
Sequels. But they were mocking me that I was like doing a shtick, like I'm doing a routine. So I'm like, oh, they kind of get me. They kind
You're
of
like,
get
I
me.
talk movies for a living. I know what I'm talking about.
I'm
Speaking
gonna
of,
go on a rant.
I have to say, I'm sorry to call you out on the air, Chris, but
I can't wait.
you kind of went at Mikey a little hard in the last podcast when
For the
talking
Goonies?
about.
No.
Well, just he sounded a little.
I don't like.
elitist.
I don't.
He
Oh yes.
sounded elitist.
Yeah,
Like,
when he talked about like you grew up not watching good
Do you?
things.
he was
elitist.
talking down to you.
Like,
He was talking down
Just because
to
my
you.
dad
No,
took
no,
me
no.
to see
I wasn't-
Chucky and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Very condescending.
No.
He didn't take me to go see The Conversation at some art house cinema. Sorry.
Christine, I don't know if you heard, but I made an observation. So Greg, you don't agree with my observation about Michael's
No,
history of
No,
movies?
your observation was 100% correct, but it was just
Oh,
very
thanks.
condescending. No, it was very condescending because it was like, it was almost like, well, yeah, it's fine that you still eat Lucky Charms for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like I eat eggs and bacon. It was kind of like
That's not true. I said it was great. I said it was great that he gets to experience movies other adults have mostly already seen.
Yes.
Right? It
Yeah,
wasn't. It's good for the show. It's good for the show. I wasn't saying like, that
No,
was
not
good.
at all.
Art house-
I
art house,
definitely didn't cry at all. I was fine.
No, I'm sure it was fine. It was just, it was
no.
definitely, it was very elitist.
Oh please.
It was very
elitist.
elitist.
So what you're saying? It was 100% on the ball and but elitist.
Yes, it was both. You can definitely be elitist to
Christine,
me
I don't know
in my
Christine, you probably haven't heard the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say my tastes. You can definitely be elitist to my taste. It's very easy.
We all have our own taste, but
in
we
fairness,
know. Yep.
I'm sorry,
Go
it's a different perspective, but he's also saying this to the guy who's talking about how all of the scenes in Elf were shot using no
Forced
CGI.
perspective.
Yeah,
And they just
how
gloss
they-
right over that
Yeah,
in camera.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You act like I don't give Mikey credit for knowing, about movies and it's called and wipes, Mikey,
That's right. Took a year and a half of film school.
and one, oneers.
Oh my God. What's with that baby?
I'm gonna probably have to jump off.
Oh.
It's okay.
David, any last words, Dave? Mike, you want to ask him first?
Yeah,
Or-
David. Any final
for the
words
end.
before you knock off? You want to say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas, guys.
All right. Say goodbye, David.
It's been
David.
fun.
what's the first movie a Christmas movie that baby's gonna watch?
Definitely, It's a Wonderful Life because it's on right now. You make her
Okay.
stare at it.
It's great. Have a great Christmas.
Say goodbye,
Merry
David.
Christmas.
Talk to you. Bye.
Probably gonna call me in 5 minutes.
He's texting you already.
Oh yeah. How did I
So,
do? I think I brought it.
Yeah, no, Christy, my observation was because I just kept suggesting movies that I thought were, well known or well seen, and then it just hit me that Mikey's tastes run towards not adult.
Which is fine.
Which is fine, right? But even his favorite movies, like I said, Back to the Future is great. I love Back to the Future. We're going to do it soon. But a kid is going to have seen that. There's just a lot of movies. Like
it was 10 years old or 9 years old when it came out.
Yes, but I'm saying right. Also, yeah.
I think if it came out now, it might still be my favorite movie. So it's
You know what? We all have our guilty.
It's perfect.
Everyone has their guilty pleasures.
Yeah, Chris
it's
hates
perfect.
The Goonies, that's
terrible. That's terrible.
Oh my God, I love the Goonies.
Thank you,
Christine. You don't want
I do. You know what? I don't care what anyone else thinks.
It's
You know
dumb.
what I love? You know what I love, and you'll all just boo about it, and I so don't care. Overboard. Don't care.
Of course.
I love that as a kid. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
what did you say? You said
No.
First, that sounds
Women all love it.
condescending.
We already. It is condescending. We already had this conversation. Remember, you and Jess. It's just. I think it's.
That's right. We did.
It's
I don't
not
care. I like what I like.
It's horrible. But I mean, like
those kids were great, and they tricked her.
What kids?
All of Kurt Russell's kids.
The boys in Overboard.
Have you, Chris?
Oh, is that like I really haven't. I've
You've seen the remake?
Do not speak about which you do not know.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen it. I've seen it actually. I don't like an hour of it at least.
Ray Combs.
Excruciating. It's excruciating.
Family Feud.
But again, this is the holiday. This is Christmas Eve. I'm not here to bash you movies, Christine.
Nope.
Is that the one where they
celebrate you? What, Greg?
It was a question about Overboard.
That's the one where they gaslight Goldie Hawn into thinking she's part of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a crime, but it's.
How do you just not love Kurt and Goldie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love
Kurt. That's off topic.
I do love. No, well, we can get back to Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah. It all meshes.
So, yeah, I'm glad. So, gotta get a lot of movies in. Make sure you guys watch A Christmas Story Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll be doing Christmas Eve, putting that on.
So one movie
it's okay.
One movie that always comes up on a lot of lists, and I've actually never seen it, is that Love Actually.
Oh,
is that any good?
I love it, except for one of the vignettes. I love it except for the porno vignette. I don't understand why it's needed in the movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Love Actually with Hugh Grant?
Never.
No.
That's shocking.
I've seen. Oh, you know what I think is great.
Snape is in that. Or you
I don't
might
know
call
if it's
him
a
Hans
Christmas
Gruber.
movie. Is The Family Man a Christmas movie?
Love The Family Man.
Is that Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Oh, I think.
And Tia Leone.
Yeah. It's pretty.
So good.
Has anyone
I
watched,
think that is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. The new Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds, on Apple.
It's a musical, but
yeah.
I haven't.
I'm a sucker for
Speaking of musicals.
That was like a Scrooge, like
yeah, it's like a Scrooge.
Was it Christmas Carol?
So my boss usually comes over around Christmas time and brings a ton of gifts for the girls and whatnot. So this year he said, oh, I don't want to come over and just fill your house with a bunch of junk that no one likes. So he wanted to
Did you
bring.
say really?
So he
really junk.
Send my address.
So I didn't watch the Patriots game on Sunday because we went to a Christmas Carol at North Shore Music Theater. Has anybody ever been to that theater?
Oh, yeah. We used to go there like for field trips as a kid.
It was incredible. I couldn't believe how good it was. Like my expectations were so low.
Yeah.
I'm like, the girls might like it, but like this 19th century British, like they know the story of Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, but the acting was, I can't speak.
Great? Yeah.
It was so good. It was so great, really. The show
I've been listening to the audiobook of the original Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
When
I have the ebook.
It's taken me a long time.
I want to read it.
And I'm like, you heard it's obviously been remade in every fashion, right? I'm kind of, maybe maybe I had a few cocktails here and there, but I'm like thinking, this is genius. That he came up with.
Do
this.
people realize this?
That I came up with this plot. I'm like, it's so genius, right? Like, just think of the whole plot.
It's
like
so
that
part of the
of every movie
the
after
culture,
that.
pop culture, right?
Yeah.
That the fact that it started here.
Such an amazing story.
It was also a musical, which made it even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like it's such a classic kind of tale in
Genius.
Yeah.
I've already watched a couple sitcoms where they, Felix and Oscar. It's a Wonderful Life.
I did have that
you
question.
guys haven't listened?
What, Mikey? I know you do a ton of podcasts on different episodes of Christmas shows, but is there a list of like?
I go by show for like I want to watch this show or things I know about.
Yeah.
But there are lists, so that's where I'm finding. I find like what are the greatest. I did a lot of that last year. This year,
You should check out The Office this year.
You should check out The Office. Yeah, Chris is on it. Yep.
Oh, you already recorded.
Oh yeah, that was mine.
Yes, yeah.
Was that Moroccan Christmas or a different one?
Thank you for subscribing.
No, we did. So Mike, he asked me which one I wanted to do. I was going to do Dwight Christmas, which Brian and I were talking about, which is great. But then I watched. Was it Secret Santa?
Secret Santa.
That's the name of it. It is so great. It is
Perfect.
so great, and it's
Perfect.
all Christmas.
Yeah.
So watch. The episode is just great. So we loved it. We had a good time, Michael.
I don't know.
We started doing that. Jen recommended the Schitt's Creek Christmas. I don't know if anybody's watched Schitt's Creek yet.
Yes.
I've watched a couple episodes, but never.
We've watched it. Love it.
It's fantastic. Their
Today
Christmas
I watched Webster. I watched the Christmas episode of Webster. So,
Wow.
Nice.
It runs the gambit. John Astin was on it, so.
Guys, I'm gonna go. It's past my bedtime.
Jane,
thank you so much
9
for
o'clock.
joining us.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Nice
New
to meet
Year.
you.
See y'all.
Great guest. Have a
Merry
great
Christmas, Mary.
tomorrow. Merry
you guys.
Christmas, Mary. Love you too.
Merry
Bye,
Christmas.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, Mikey, don't forget.
Shit, cock balls. Sorry, I just had to get it out.
It's so funny because just listening to Mikey, you're Mikey's like, I'm the one who swears, and I'm like, yeah, Dave makes you swear. And Dave's like, fuck.
He can't even like.
He can't.
I think that's how he talks at work completely, and that's like,
yeah, exactly. Just, but we love you, buddy. Hope you're having a good Christmas.
He's not listening.
I've
never heard an episode.
I have to say, I thought the Elf episode, I thought Dave was totally checked out, and I understand he has other
It
responsibilities.
happens
tonight,
a lot with him.
but he was a total no-show tonight. Why even come
tonight
on?
was
So
nothing.
I have three separate tracks, and there's one where you just don't see him saying anything at one point.
So you can see where I felt bad. I was like, you want to get everybody in. But I don't know if you know, Greg, tonight was kind of an audition. It was an audition for a third. No, I'm just kidding. Are you kidding? People loved what Dave brings to the show.
yeah, of course.
He's the wild card.
He's the wild card.
Yeah, he's right. Unintentional comedy. No, and intentional too. So, but Michael, I'm not rushing us. Well,
No.
we're finished. We're wrapping up. Who's
That's
kidding?
perfectly fine. I have to go talk about
Who's
Webster.
kidding?
Like I said.
We're wrapping up. Don't forget to mention our next movie.
Yes,
And,
we're doing it right.
you could. Okay.
I
Yes.
can officially
Yeah,
say next
Yeah, I
time.
mean, yeah.
Fine movies, fine spirits. Finally, we're going to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Far away.
The original 1977. Shit, I saw Dune in the theater and we left. I didn't know what was going on there. But we're watching Star Wars. That one's going to take me forever to edit.
New Hope.
Yeah.
New Hope.
Oh,
It really is.
Yes.
It's good. A lot of notes. So the nerds are going to come out.
Boom.
That's the type of movie that you have.
Lasers blazing. Yeah, lasers blazing. So I'm going to say a lot that I'm not an expert.
And
I'm going to tell you
Chris
what I
refused
appreciate about this.
He refused to let me do this movie on May the 4th. He didn't want to, which is when
yeah.
the world is.
I mean,
I'm looking for clicks.
That's
Yeah,
Mikey. Did you watch
sickening.
Andor yet?
Oh yeah, Yes, thank you for listening. I do a whole podcast on that too.
How amazing is that show?
So
Oh
good.
yeah, I knew
So
that.
good.
It's
Yeah.
I was trying to
I heard
get Chris
spoilers.
to
I don't want
watch
to hear
it
it.
because I feel
Pretty.
like it's one of the best shows. Period.
I've
Period.
heard
It's you
great
don't
things
even
about
you
it.
don't have to care about any of the other like some of the other Star Wars shows are connected. You don't have to.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard it was gritty. It was just
Yep.
great.
Yeah,
Great
you,
stuff. I
you
look
don't even
forward
need
to
to
it.
you don't even need to qualify and say it's one of the best Star Wars
Yeah.
shows. It's one
It's
of the
just a
best
great
shows I've
show.
seen lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Mikey, mute us out. We're going to talk about White Lotus for 15 minutes because you
I
love
have
it,
not
right?
seen an episode of
Because you
that.
haven't seen it. Greg and I are
Um,
going to talk about our obsession with White Lotus.
Yeah, before we talk about White Lotus though, the
No, we're
new
not really.
Dune, the Dune on HBO Max though.
It was pretty good.
Have you seen it?
I watched it.
Pretty good. It was outstanding.
It was good.
It was
It just kind of ended in the middle. It was beautiful to look at.
There's a
I
part
thought it
2
was-
coming.
I know.
I know.
You know what
But
ended
it was
in
pretty
the
great.
middle?
This is
Empire
how this is
Strikes
how
Back.
it's.
That ended
That's-
in the middle.
That's true.
How dare
This
you?
is how
That
I
was
would
the middle
describe it.
movie.
It's pretty great. Have you guys never seen? Oh, I don't know if Mikey did this. Blade
Probably
Runner
not if it's a good movie.
2049. Blade Runner
Mm.
2049.
Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, thanks for
Mm.
listening.
Mm.
I did Blade Runner and
You did that? Oh yeah, you did.
because I've never
I
seen
thought it was
Blade Runner.
incredible.
I watched them both at
Right.
the same time.
I did
Honestly,
listen to it. Okay.
And in fairness to us, I can't keep up with all your podcasts.
And Merry Christmas, everybody. Dave, are you watching the movie, Dave?
Yeah.
On mute?
No.
Could you mute it?
Fab's not expert.